What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, all right? It is the 24th of May today. We're late in the day here, early in the morning for me, but late in the day for Bitcoin here. We have about 10 hours and 17 minutes left in the day. 108.7K is the price right now. And our daily RSI, you guys, I really do think that we're in a nice position to bounce here. Our daily RSI is at some of the lowest points we've been at throughout this whole consolidation range here in the RSI, which is basically, consolidating in the RSI at the overbought zones is equivalent to ripping to the upside, right? That's equivalent to that. Finding support here at the 60, as we did last time over here, will only beget continuation of this move. And I very much do think we're going to see continuation. Whenever we take a high to a low here, high from the prior all-time high to the low here on April 7th, you can see that we've broken above the 886. We've had about a week above the 886 now. It's very rare. It's very, very rare to break above the 886 in this manner and see anything but the 1272 or higher before any kind of significant correction. So yes. Tariffs this, tariffs that, whatever. There's been tariffs. Who cares? We're going to go up. We're going to go to 121K. I think that everybody's going to realize that these tariffs don't matter. They're scared, not of the tariffs. They're scared of what happened last time in this tariff environment. But the thing is, this has also been in a tariff-riddled environment, much more than even February was, actually. And February was pretty bad. February to March is actually a pretty bad time. Anyways, $121,000 to $138,000. That's where I think we're going to go. Likely by the end of the month, we will be somewhere around 130 to 140K. I think that this move is going to get rather explosive and eruptive, but at a minimum, we're looking for 121K by the end of the month. If not 130 to 140K, that's the end of month expectation. That's what the end of month expectation has been since the beginning of the month. We're going to stick with it. 108.7K now. It might not seem likely, but it's a lot more likely now than it has been throughout the rest of this month, isn't it? And I very much do believe we're going to get a nice little pop here. Going into next week, it is a long weekend. It is Saturday, but we still have 2 days left, Sunday and Monday. And then even a good part of Tuesday. Because at this point in time, the stock market would normally be open. They'd opened about 15 minutes ago. But there's 10 hours and 15 minutes left in the day. So that means that when the stock market opens on Tuesday, there will be 10 hours and 30 minutes left in the day, which implies that most of Tuesday will actually be a weekend day too. So you've got all of tomorrow, all of the next day, and then a good bit of Tuesday, and a good bit left of today still. We still got a hell of a lot of weekend, basically 3 days worth of weekend left to go. Don't be surprised if we're just boring, right? I know that it's Memorial Day weekend. I don't know why, but I wanted to. The word that kept coming to my head was medieval day, and I'm like, it's not medieval day. Memorial Day weekend is here, and people expect some excitement over the long weekends. Ooh, this is different. Maybe we'll get some crazy pump action, but generally speaking, we don't. Typically, we don't. Typically, we just move sideways. So I'm expecting a boring next couple of days. We're just going to move sideways, figure ourselves out. I wouldn't be surprised if we moved up a little bit today, move down a little bit tomorrow, move sideways the next day, and then on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever, we break out. You know what I mean? Looking at this on a 1 hour time frame, let's just see if we can confirm that we're at least moving up more today, or if we found resistance today. So looking at this here on the 1 hour RSI, we are finding resistance at the 60, whereas at the daily, finding support is a good thing. Rejecting it's not a terrible thing, but it more or less means that you might be done growing for right now. And you are finding resistance at prior resistance here, kind of in this turbulent area. Let's just see from a high to a low. What are you doing? Right at the 0.5. Normally I wouldn't weigh too much on the 0.5, but lately crypto has been respecting the hell out of the 0.5. And sometimes you do this maneuvering stuff where you'll go from your 0.5 to your 382 up to your golden ratio. So maybe there's still a situation in which 110.3K, something in that is the situation that we do, whether it's by the end of today or some point tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if it was by the end of today. And then tomorrow, Sunday, we probably correct. We either get some kind of higher low, maybe a double bottom, maybe a slightly lower low, whatever it is that we get, we'll get some kind of movement down, and all paths afterwards lead higher. That's all it is, right? So Sunday, I'm expecting a little bit of if today's Saturday was like this, I'm expecting tomorrow, Sunday, to be like this, and then maybe Monday is like this, and then Tuesday is like that. Who knows? We'll see. And maybe Tuesday is boring too, but I'm just expecting at least the next few days to be boring, essentially. Or if they're exciting, if we are moving up, then one day will be up, one day will be down, one day will be up, but we're just going to move sideways, essentially. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame. And actually, hold on, I want to look at the 1 hour a little bit more carefully. I think that we will continue to climb. I think that we really will go to about 110K, but we'll see. 4-hour time frame. Today, we'll do that probably by the end of today. And then if we were to do that, that might set us up for a 60 rejection on the 4-hour, maybe. And then we spend Sunday configuring ourselves off of that. And then we bounce off the 50 or we bounce off the 40, depending on how volatile it gets. If we bounce off the 40, we'll probably go lower than this. If we bounce off the 50, we'll form a higher low. So it'll be interesting to see on the 4-hour time frame. Daily time frame. I mean, the daily time frame looks great. So if it comes up a little bit more and it closes up a little higher, that's cool. You'll probably see a bounce like this. And then if it finds resistance tomorrow, if we get a little red day, you'll see something like this. And then we'll probably maybe even get a lower low in the RSI while promoting a higher low in the price, something like that. And then I really do believe that we're going to run right up to this overbought zone. I don't think that we're in a downtrend. I don't think we're at any kind of significant topping point, right? Bitcoin generally, typically, whenever it tops off in its daily RSI, we see readings that are up near 90, if not above 90. So this is a loading zone rather than a departure zone from the bullish times, right? This is, you know what I mean? Like we normally go up higher. Whenever we see stuff like this, it's kind of like a loading. We're mega loading right now. We're ready. I think we're getting ready for a big move. Like all these little moves here, genuinely, these moves have been nice. Each one of them from a low to a high, 15%. I'm not going to go through and measure all of them, but the next one, that's like 14%, 12% there. Each one of them takes us up to that next level. If this move were to have been like 12 to 15%, 12% would be 118K, 15% would be 122K. That would be nice. It's pretty typical of what we've seen here. I'm thinking we're going to get something that's not so typical. I'm thinking we're going to get something that's a little bit outside the norms and it's a little bit more pronounced as far as strength goes. And I think that's what this sideways configuration in the RSI is going to lead to. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. If I'm wrong, we'll still move up. We just might not move up as crazy as I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking 130 to 140 by the end of the month. End of the month is right here, right? That's the end of the month. We would have to do something like this at the very least. We'd have to see some kind of pace like that. And if we look at that pace there, that's a bit faster than what we've been seeing, right? We'd have to break out of this upward trend. This trend has been like this. So we'd have to pick up the pace a good bit in order to see that by the end of the month. But I am thinking 130 to 140K is where we'll be. Ultimately going to 170 to 180K by the end of June, early July. What I love, you guys, is, and I've been talking about, I'm not trying to pretend like I've called this perfectly because I thought that we'd be at 120K by the end of January, back in December. You know what I mean? I thought that we'd do that. I thought February, March would be the time frame that we work our way up to 170 to 180K. And, for a couple of months there, I was wrong. But since April, I want to say, if not late March, I've been under the assumption that we would top off in June, late June or early July. That's been the expectation. And I feel like there's other YouTubers. I'm watching not even YouTubers, big figures in the space. Arthur Hayes. I was watching a clip of Arthur Hayes talking. I don't know who he was talking to in an interview, but he was talking about how he thinks end of June will provide something between $150,000 to a $200,000 price for Bitcoin. And it's like, hey, that's exactly what I'm saying, except a little more refined. I think it'll be 170 to 180K end of June, early July. That's the expectation. He has the same kind of time frame, and it makes sense. It really does make sense. That would be the time frame because Bitcoin, whenever it moves, Arthur, he's been in the crypto space longer than I have, right? Mr. Hayes has been in this space longer than I have. I've been in the space since 2015. I think he's been in the space longer than I have. Let's see. How long has Arthur Hayes been in crypto? When did Arthur Hayes? I'm pretty sure. I think it's Arthur with a U. Oops, Arthur with a U. Arthur Hayes first get involved with BTC. We're just measuring penises right now. That's all this is. Who got in first? His is bigger, though, because he obviously is wealthier. You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? Arthur Hayes first got involved with Bitcoin in 2013 when he began trading. Okay, so 2013. Yeah, I got involved in 2015, but I really got involved in 2017. So, yes, you win this measuring match, Arthur. Good job. Yeah. Anyways, Bitcoin 108.6K now. Very much believe we have higher prices to go. It would be nice if tomorrow could close somewhere around this price. If not, I think it was 107.5K. If we can close tomorrow above there, or at least there, because that will at least get us into the overbought zone. I really want to see this weekly RSI get into the overbought zone. I don't want to be in a position where we could reject it. Just get into it, right? So if we can do that over the next day and 10 hours now, that'd be nice. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Getting to 170 to 180K by the end of June would be really nice, or early July would be really nice, because that does posture us. That sets us up in a position. You guys, I want you to understand something real quick. If you're still here, you might connect some dots that are very essential. So just pay attention, okay? Let's do this real quick. We're gonna do this on a monthly standard. Yeah, let's do it on a monthly standard. Let's see what the last 3 cycles, what Bitcoin did in its last 2 months of its bull cycle, just as far as growth goes. Last 2 months in its bull cycle, just as far as growth goes, okay? The last 3 cycles. That's 1 cycle there, 2 cycles there. We're on the 3rd cycle. So 1, 2, we'll do 3. So, well, the last 2 months here, from an opening price to a high price, was 766%. We're probably not going to see that. That'd be great. that would be really great. But last 2 months here, from an opening price to a top price, that's 200%. Okay, well, maybe we could see something like that, you know. Last 2 months here. And that's not even true. Actually, we're going to be, this one's even going to cheat a little bit, because the second month isn't even that much growth, but we're going to go for it because it is the top month. Opening price to high, 44%. Okay, so 766, 207, 44%. Now, it might seem like this, the last 2 months, because of this trend, smaller, right? It's getting smaller each time, that this would be smaller than 44%. I would argue that last cycle we got robbed. We had a double top and we didn't have the spectacular finish that we're accustomed to. So what I would argue is not that we would see something that's smaller than 44% in a line of succession that is getting lower in that last 2 months. I'd argue that we see something between 44% and 207%. Let's just go with 100%. But maybe not. We'll see even 47%, right? If we're at 180K and it's the end of June, we expect to get a little bit of a pullback, right, between July. It's probably not going to consolidate July, August, September, October, right? Maybe in August we'll start moving up again, right? The end of the bull market's going to be in October. So August, I wouldn't be surprised if we were up around 170 to 180K, if not higher by the end of August. So let's just assume we're at like 180K by the end of August. I think we're being fair there. We're probably going to be above 200K by the end of August, you guys. And then we have September and October, 2 more months to go. So 44% from 180K would then imply that we at least have a 265K price. And again, I'm deriving this. This is rough estimations here. I'm speculating wildly right now. But essentially where I'm getting this 181K measurement from is I'm assuming we'll top off at 170 to 180K in late June, early July. We'll probably spend a month and a half consolidating, which late June to early July, a month and a half consolidating would mean in August we start to move up again. Moving up again, you know, we'd probably find our low sometime in July. So we've already found our low. We'd already have been moving up. When I say moving up, I mean like getting ready to move up, looking bullish, kind of like what we're doing now. So I would assume we're back at our all-time highs, 170 to 180K by the end of August, and likely we'll even be above 200K by the end of August. So I feel like with the time frame that I'm corresponding with in my head, I'm being more than fair for measuring at 180K. And at the 44% mark, that'd be a 265K price. If we do 100% growth, something like that, in between 207 and 44%, we'd see something on the lines of 367K. If we see something that's in between 100% and 200% at 150%, we'll see something on the lines of 456K. And if we go all the way up to 500K, that's still lesser than what we saw over here, but still above this, which fits in my category of approval for this. I think that anything and everything essentially between like 300,000 and maybe even 600,000 is a possibility by the end of the cycle. I'm sticking right in the middle there at 500K. I think that's where we're going to go. $450 to $500,000. That's where I think we'll be by the end of the cycle, sometime in October, probably late October. I'm going with like October 20th or later. Maybe I'm going to stick with late October. Yeah. Maybe like late October. I think October 20th will be a good date, somewhere around there. But I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. All that last part is just wild speculation, but it just helps paint in perspective a little bit of just showing that the last 2 months can be very good, right? This wasn't a good example right here. Like 86% is a lot more than 40, and that would definitely get us more toward like 400K, wouldn't it? I mean, if we were at 180K, 86% growth, that's 330K at least, right? Something like that. I very much believe we will see prices above $400,000 by the end of this cycle, if not at least 500K is the target that I've been talking about since before 2023, guys. That's been the expectation for a long time, and we're sticking with it. We're not changing that until we see enough data to make us change that. And I haven't seen enough yet to indicate that we're on any other kind of path other than right on track to seeing $500,000 by the end of the cycle. So buckle up, wait for it. It's coming. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Bye bye.